What's up, y'all, and welcome back to Danny's to Talk. I'm your host Robert, and today I'm going to be talking about me trying to find a purpose beyond parenting, reflecting on the 15th anniversary of the infamous series, and a few dope movies that I've seen recently. So, before I get into all that, as always, if this is your first time here, then welcome. But if you're a returning listener and or watcher, then welcome back. Y'all know here at Danny's to Talk, it's all about fatherhood and family, manga, anime, TV, movies, and some video games. So, it's been a couple weeks again. um, I hope everybody out there is doing well. Uh, Life has been busy, a little bit stressful for me. I'm gonna get into all that in a little bit, but yeah, life has been lifing, but I'm doing my best to push forward, to look for the positive, and yeah. So, like I said, it's kind of funny because originally today I was going to do my topic about community parenting, but I'm gonna say that for a different day. Um, just because I happened to come across a random post on Twitter that just kind of like made me rethink of like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna change it today to this. But I'm gonna get to that in a minute. As always, there's timestamps below for everything. So if you want to jump ahead to different subjects and stuff, whatever. Because as always, I start the episode with talking about life updates. Then it's the main topic, and then the back half of the show is everything entertainment wise that I've been watching, reading, games, all that stuff, whatever. So starting with life, or I guess housekeeping first. So big shout out to the homies over at Three Weebs podcast because I got to be a guest on their most recent episode, which was their 100th episode milestone. So it was very awesome getting a chance to talk and record with them because it's been so long. In general, I haven't gotten to do any collaborations with anybody in a year. Um, and so I had to jump through a few hoops and stuff to be able to make that work. But I'm very happy that I got to be part of that special milestone that they even reached out to me to be on the show with them and stuff. So, but yeah, it was very dope. So yeah, shout out to the three of them, Chibi, Hitsu, and Keisaki. So shout out to all three of them. Go listen to that episode and plenty of the other ones. Um, but yeah, so aside from that, like I said, life has been lifing. Um, I honestly don't even know where to start, cause it's been crazy. Cause I don't even know if cause the last time I recorded, let me see, was May 16th. Which how many weeks ago was that? 1, 2, 3 weeks. So yeah. So that same weekend after I last recorded, um, my oldest son had a freak accident playing basketball at his friend's house, and I'm not gonna get into too many details, or whatever. But I'll just say the his friend's basketball goal. They're playing outside, of course, whatever. Had a screw sticking out of the side of it, and that screw went into my son's leg and tore up the side of his leg. So he ended up having to get, I think, 18 stitches. It was a very deep and bad wound, but thankfully it didn't hit any like vital organs or whatever. But yeah, so that happened 2 Saturdays ago. He's doing well. The healing process has been going good. He got the stitches taken out the other day, and stuff. And he um, played a couple basketball games yesterday and stuff, and was able to perform pretty well. Of course, there's still a little bit of hesitancy with maneuvering on that leg and stuff, whatever. But I'm just happy that it wasn't nothing like super catastrophic or whatever. But definitely very scary, and especially for him because this is his first. He's had like some like minor bumps and bruises and sprains and stuff like that or whatever, but nothing like that vicious or whatever. So but he's doing well on the road to recovery, and stuff. So cause part of everything that we're building towards, like at the end of the month, we're supposed to be traveling to Ohio for a basketball tournament. So we'll see how that goes, which that's been another part of like just life stressors and stuff. So all that happening, along with uh, we had a unexpected car expense, as this stuff always goes, to where you know what, because it's like a few months ago things was looking pretty good. Hey, got the yearly pay raise and stuff, whatever, and so it's okay, cool. Finally getting a little bit of a financial, cushion or whatever. And then, like I already talked about a while back, I had to get a new car or whatever. And so, of course, that was a bigger car note, which means my insurance also went up. So, yeah. And then on top of that, the other last week, I think it was, my wife's car um, needed to get some brake work done, and of course some other stuff was found during that. So I had to spend a unexpected $800 that I wasn't planning on spending. So that kind of hit my heart and my wallet pretty hard, um, and stuff. So it's just been just chaotic and busy, and of course school's out, so the kids are eating up everything. We've been starting to ramp up. Summer track is going on, which my wife is coaching helping to coach the younger kids and stuff, whatever, for summer track. And then of course, my older three, they're also doing preparations and stuff for potential varsity and high school stuff, whatever, for next year or going into ninth grade in the fall. So that all this stuff has kept us very busy, kept me pretty stressed out. Cause like I said, like you know, I've had like a little bit of a cushion even with some of the financial increases of stuff, whatever. But like I said, like that $800 out of nowhere hit, it hurt. It really, really hurt. But I will say, I did get a chance to. So my wife has signed up for Amazon Flex, which is kind of like a basically it's like a helping to deliver Amazon packages or whatever. Kind of the same way how like these I can't think of the term that people use for, but basically these like side hustle jobs like Uber Eats and Uber driving and DoorDash and all these different little things, whatever. Well, Amazon Flex is a system where you can sign up or whatever, and then you help deliver Amazon packages or whatever. So she signed up for this years ago, like back during the pandemic, and she got approved for it, but she just never used it. So her account was still active because it takes a long time for you to even get in the door or whatever. So she's had an account, it's been open for a while, so she decided to start doing it maybe a couple weeks ago now, whatever. And so last weekend, since it was a 3-day weekend or whatever, stuff was a little bit slow as far as like no sports stuff, whatever going on. I decided to go and ride with her on this order to see how it goes. And so the first day, we pretty much got free money because how they do it is when you show up to the location or whatever, you check in, and there is a possibility. It doesn't happen all the time, but it can happen to where for whatever reason, the run that you schedule for whatever ends up not happening. Well, they still pay you whatever money, and that's kind of why she's been liking this a little bit better than like doing DoorDash and stuff, because it is reliable money. Like when you sign up how much money you're going to make for that run. And so pretty much got a free check that day or whatever. But then we went and did a couple other runs, that Sunday and that Memorial Day Monday or whatever. And it was pretty interesting just kind of seeing the process of going to, whatever warehouse, whatever. They give you the packages, and then you go through, you scan, you label them and stuff, whatever, number them depending on the order. And then I was the driver, and then she would just, hop out, go take, deliver the package to the door, ring the doorbell, whatever instructions or whatever. And it was pretty fun, kind of a little bit of a husband wife dynamic duo delivery service. But yeah, it was just kind of cool just being with her for a few hours those couple of days and seeing how that process and stuff all kind of works or whatever. But but yeah, so like I said, life has been lifing. I was a little bit bummed that just it is what it is. But and this will kind of lead into my topic I want to talk about in a minute. But DreamHack Dallas was going on this past weekend, and I was already probably not really going to be able to go anyways, but I kind of was maybe hoping to try to squeeze it in somewhere when I heard that like the friends from the Gamer Parents podcast, they were gonna come into town for it, and somebody else I follow was coming into town for it. So I was like, "Ooh, this would be a chance, maybe link up and meet some people, whatever, yada yada yada." But then, especially when I had like so the car thing I had to get done, I was like, "Yeah, I can't spare no money for this," and it kind of bummed me out. But it's just one of those things like I talked about before. It's like I know in due time I will get back to doing and going to conventions and different events and stuff like that or whatever, because I am more regularly seeing the importance of finding more to do, more to life beyond just being a parent. And so I'm gonna transition into that. And so let me read off real quick. So the Twitter post in question I was talking about, um, in regards that kind of made me rethink what I was gonna talk about today, whatever. Some random guy I've never known or seen before, whatever. But this post randomly came across my timeline on Twitter. Um, a full blown adult. He might be in his 30s, maybe older, whatever. But he had posted back in February that he was starting karate, and that when he went to the class, whatever, he was standing next to a 5-year-old little girl who was also on her first day, and how we learned. And he said we learned the same steps, and the dojo kun closing. I am 10 times her size, seen horrors in my years I hope she would never imagine, but in that moment we were equal. And seeing this guy make this post, I don't know, just something about it just like really made me, just really spoke to me and made me want to do this purpose beyond parenting topic, because obviously that is a top priority in my life, to be a dad, to help support and protect and to teach my children for to them through life into adulthood and even beyond adulthood, because just because they become adults, they never stop being your kids, you never stop being a parent. But like I said, just seeing that post or whatever, and just some different struggles that I've had recently or whatever, um of I've kind of struggled, just like really just thinking and reflecting on me finding something that is for me, finding a purpose for myself. Because like I say from time to time, is like before I was a father, before I was a stepfather, before I was a husband, before I was Uncle Rob, I was just Robert. I was just a person. And obviously, yes, those things change as we grow and get a family or get a spouse or whatever, life changes, whatever that happened. But I have seen how important it is to still maintain some of yourself beyond all this stuff, because there might be a day, it's gonna be many years from now, but when all my kids are grown and out the house or whatever, then it's like, okay, what will I be doing? Who will I be? What hobbies will I have? And that is why I've kind of slowly tried to keep a connection and keep some things for myself, in this time, through all these things. And is why I've mentioned before about, trying to make sure that even like a little thing of like, okay, hey, I'm going to go to the bookstore and just spend some time to myself doing that, or hey, going to the park and walking around, or going and seeing some movies by myself. Like, I need to find more purpose for myself. And sometimes, and I've kind of even thought about this earlier too, as I was putting the show together, whatever, and looking at how my schedule has been lately, whatever, of like maybe even in recent years, this podcast has been a purpose of some sort, because while, you know, I started it for one thing as far as like helping me deal with the grief of loss and things like that, but how I've gotten to meet and connect with and talk with so many people around the world, it's kind of shown me there's like, hey, okay, this can be something of its own. And me not being able to do this as often lately, I think, and it kind of tying into like me not going to many or any conventions and stuff, whatever, in this last year and some change, whatever. I think I've, in a way, I know in the like the first couple of years or whatever, I was like, come hell or high water, I'm gonna record an episode this week, or I'm gonna record multiple episodes, or whatever, to talk about things, whatever. And sometimes I was, yes, overdoing it to a detriment of itself, whatever. But I think that part of it was still the consistency of having something for me, or something that I could look forward to. Like, okay, hey, I'm gonna record on this day, or I'm gonna try to record within this time frame or whatever, to talk about life, to talk about the things I'm reading, watching, games I'm playing, all this stuff, whatever. And I kind of want to try to find that again now. Of course, like I've talked about before, with the trajectory of where things are about to ramp up with my kids and schooling and sports and all that stuff, whatever. Especially as they get ready, especially as my older ones get ready to head into ninth grade and potential doing varsity stuff, and my two younger kids want to find stuff to do, whatever. And then of course still trying to find stuff to do with just me and my wife, and then also me. So it's multiple layers, on top of just me trying to find time and energy for myself. It's also, hey, for my wife, for each of my 5 kids, and other friends and family and things along the way. um it is super tough, but it is something that is needed, because I've also realized that, like, work wise, I don't really have a big work or career goal. I'm not aiming to be the best IT person in my company, or the best IT guy in the world, or anything grandiose like that, or whatever. I've kind of found a comfortable spot, which is fine in some sense or whatever, because it is secure, so that I can focus on my family and my personal life, whatever. But it's like, okay, like what am I working towards? And like I said, coming back to this podcast and some of the goals and ideas and stuff that I've had for this, whatever, hopefully this is maybe something, because I kind of have some ideas cooking in my mind, and some things I mentioned before with the podcast I want to do, but I want to really try to refocus in and maybe make some type of like loose outline of how I want to try to tackle this, because like I said, seeing the inspiration of this guy's post and stuff, and I also, because on top of what he said earlier about him starting karate back in February, he had made a post yesterday about how he just obtained his orange belt and stuff, whatever, and just very cool seeing him stepping into this new journey, even being an older adult or whatever, but still starting this path. And I feel like that is something that we all need to do as adults or just in general in life, and like I said, especially as a parent, to where now, of course, I'm not saying, hey, don't abandon your kids to try to do this other thing, whatever, but it is still, I think, important for us to have something that we are looking forward to beyond our kids, beyond our spouses, beyond our families, that we have something that we look forward to ourselves. And that is one thing that I kind of enjoy hearing about on the Gamer Parents podcast, of how, you know, they're very busy and stuff, whatever, and especially with them having two younger kids, ages, 3 and 5, that's a very, busy, super busy time frame or whatever. But I do like how they talk about how, okay, hey, the mom, she'll have, even if it's like a mom's night out where her and some other moms or just friends will go out and do an activity together, or her husband do a movie night, or the husband, does a night with his friends or whatever. It's like, I don't have any of those things, whatever. And it's like, me and my wife barely do stuff together as far as like, oh, we're going to do a date night or whatever. And we've gotten better about it, in like the last 6 months and stuff, whatever. But I still want to get even more better at that or whatever. And then, like I said, on top of that, also finding those things for me. But yeah, like I said, it was just a subject that was just like weighing heavy on my mind. Like I said, especially seeing this guy's post and stuff. And I had retweeted it, so if anybody wants to see it, it's on my Twitter account or whatever. But yeah, it is something that I think that we all need to at least keep in the back of our minds, of like I said, of course, everybody's situations and stuff is going to be different, but at least think about it, because I also want to make sure I'm careful of not putting off doing things or trying to achieve personal goals until waiting until all the kids are grown and out the house or whatever, because life isn't that simple. Life isn't that guaranteed of like, okay, well, hey, my youngest is 6, so in 12 years when he's 18 or whatever, and I'm, almost 50, now I'm gonna try to find a goal and a purpose and something that is for Robert to do or whatever. No, because I've already personally seen and experienced the unfortunate side of waiting or thinking that something is going to forever be there, or a person is going to forever be there. Because like I'm gonna mention this briefly, not to bring the mood down too much or whatever, but the reasoning for me starting the podcast with me losing my sister and my mother, I took for granted that my sister lived close. She lived like an hour or so away or whatever, and thinking like, oh, well, hey, we got so many years ahead of us that there'll be plenty of time for us to connect and to me to go visit, me to take, my kids to go see her or whatever. There's plenty of time for that or whatever. I just gotta just worry about, being a dad and surviving with my family and yada 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 and stuff. And then boom, I'm at work one day, get a phone call from my nephew like, hey, my sister is gone. And then a few months after that, my mom, and just all these things are like, oh yeah, well, hey, I got many years, my mom's only, mid 60s or whatever, got a long time to go. And, and so I don't want to end up in that same boat again. I don't want anybody out there listening to end up in this same position to where it's like, well, I'll wait till my kids are grown or adults or whatever, and then I'll find a hobby or I'll find something to do. Like I said, once again, this is very specific to my life circumstances or whatever, because obviously, if if you have younger kids or if you're a single parent or whatever your family dynamic may be or whatever, you might not be in a position to try to do that. But like I said, that is why I talk about these small things, these small moments. Like I said, even if it's just, oh, I'm going to go and see this movie I really want to see. Hey, I'm going to figure something out with a babysitter or a close friend that I trust, or hey, my parents wanted, or my my brothers and sisters, hey, go kids, go visit your aunt and uncle, whatever, something like that or whatever. Like I said, like we need to find something. Like I said, even just hey, it's late at night, all the kids are in bed. Hey, I'm gonna try to play a little bit of this video game I've been wanting to play, or I'm gonna watch this TV show I've been wanting to watch. Something, or hey, I'm gonna work on writing this book I want to write, podcasting, whatever the case may be. So yeah, so try to find those opportunities and find those moments when you can. Like I said, because sometimes it might seem difficult or nowhere in sight. Sometimes if you actually like slow down and think about your day to day and how you do certain things, whatever, sometimes all it takes is just like a recalibration of how you prioritize your time, or maybe how you're spending your time doing certain things, where it's like, okay, well, hey, maybe if I get up 30 minutes early or whatever, I can get some reading of that book I want to read, or play a little bit of that game before everybody gets up for work or school or whatever. Or like I said, there are pockets of time that sometimes we think aren't there, but they actually are there. It's just that, it might just be the time is mismanaged, or just, we're spending hours scrolling social media and things like that or whatever, when it's like, man, that 30 minutes or hour that I spent, mindlessly scrolling Facebook or Instagram or TikTok or whatever, man, that could have been 30 minutes of that game I wanted to play, or hey, I could have been watched a couple episodes of that show that I've been wanting to get to, whatever. So, but yeah, like I said, I hope all this rambling and stuff makes sense. I mainly talk this out, like I said, mainly for myself, because, like I said, I am number one person that needs to do better about finding some type of personal goal. Because, like I said, I do find myself sometimes like mentally stressed and mentally drained with all of the life things going on, and I find myself in this loop of just, okay, get up early, go to work, do stuff at work, whatever, come home, and then, okay, what practice I gotta be at, what tournament, with this and that, okay, dinner and clothing and, bath time and yada yada yada, and before I know it, crap, it's time for bed, and we're gonna repeat it all, whatever. But it's like, man, all right, cool. Hey, let me get the kids settled a little bit earlier, whatever. And hey, now I got an hour to do this thing or whatever I want to do. So, but yeah, so I think that's all the rambling I'm gonna do on that subject or whatever. Like I said, I hope that makes sense to somebody out there. But yeah, it is something that we all need to be cognizant of. Like I said, not just as a parent, but like I said, just us in life in general. So yeah. Um. So yeah. So transitioning from that, let me see. I want to talk about You know what? I'm gonna touch on a little bit of the gaming stuff, and then I'm gonna probably save the movie talking stuff for after that or whatever. But I'm gonna go through the gaming stuff pretty quickly. So, like I mentioned up top, recently was the 15-year anniversary of the video game series Infamous. which for those of y'all watching the video, I'm wearing my infamous t-shirt. And this shirt is, and I've mentioned this before, but this shirt is probably one of the oldest pieces of merch I have in my collection, from anything, whatever. And so it's been very awesome that this shirt is held up, and it's still in pretty good condition. It's got maybe like a couple holes, whatever, some like around like somewhere, whatever. But for the most part, it's still sturdy, still durable, or whatever. But yeah, man, it's crazy to think about 15 years of Infamous. And for those of you who do not know, Infamous was a game made by Sucker Punch Studios, Sucker Punch Productions. That is the game studio who their most recent game series that they did was Ghost of Tsushima. But before Ghost of Tsushima, before the Infamous series, they also did the Sly Cooper series back on the PS2 and stuff. But yeah, so in that series, you play as a character named as Cole McGrath, who was a delivery guy or whatever, and ended up having a package that exploded or whatever, and gave himself these electrical powers and stuff. And so you basically start going on missions or whatever to try to uncover the truth of why this happened and all these different things that's going on since that explosion or whatever. And it was a very dope series. But the crazy thing is my history with the series. So Infamous 1 came out around the same time as another series called Prototype. Now Prototype had the more hype behind it around the time, whatever, because Prototype was a multi-platform game, so it was on Xbox, PlayStation, and PC, whereas Infamous was on PlayStation only. So this was 2009, PlayStation 3, Xbox 360 era or whatever. And so, like I said, Prototype was the one I knew about. I saw the commercials for whatever. I had never really even heard of Infamous, just maybe like in passing or whatever. And so, the way how I ended up getting into Infamous was because I've talked about this before. So back in my hometown in Jasper, Texas, I grew up, we had no car or whatever, and so to get around, I had to walk everywhere. So I walked to Walmart, which that's the biggest place we have down there. But I walked to Walmart, so like a 15, 20 plus minute walk, maybe even close to 30 minutes, I don't know, but it was a pretty lengthy walk. And so I was going up there to pick up a copy of a Prototype. But of course, I get there, they're sold out. So I'm like, crap. So, of course, like I said, this is 2009. So there is no, I'm going to order off of Amazon. None of that stuff, whatever, especially like I said, in my little small country town at the time. And so for me, yes, I probably could have just waited and tried again another day. But I was like, no. I've walked out this way or whatever. I'm not leaving empty-handed. I'm going to buy something or whatever. So, since they didn't have Prototype, I had a couple options or whatever. This was also around the time, or no. This other game, so Grand Theft Auto 4 had been out for maybe like a year or so, whatever. I hadn't played it yet or whatever, and I was like, maybe I'll get Grand Theft Auto 4. So I'm thinking about it. I'm like, maybe. Walking around, I'm like, I'm gonna wait. So I'm walking around looking, and I see Infamous, and I see the box art for it, and I'm like, this looks pretty interesting or whatever. And so I'm reading the description on the back, whatever, and I'm like, this sounds interesting. I'm gonna give it a shot. Like I said, I knew nothing too much about the game or the setup or whatever. Like I said, it just had a pretty cool, the cover art of it, which I don't know. I don't think it's on the shirt anywhere, but the cover art looked pretty cool and stuff. So I was like, whatever, I'm gonna buy it, give it a shot. Man, from the very beginning, because I had never really played a game like Infamous at the time, and so it was something very different, very cool, and very gripping or whatever. Just like playing this kind of like darker tones, kind of like a semi-hero, superhero type of game, whatever, where you're just this normal dude who gets in this situation. And just the way the story unfolds, the way they kind of like the comic style panels or whatever for the cutscenes or whatever, and the story overall was fantastic, especially like the big like twist and reveal at the end with the main villain and all this stuff, whatever. just so mind blowing at the time, whatever, because I was 19 when that game came out or whatever. So, but yeah, so that was like my introduction of how I got into the Infamous series, and of course I played Infamous 2 when that came out a couple years later, and then Infamous Second Son when that came out on PS4 many years after that or whatever. And yeah, man, so I really love that series, and I really wish that they would do a remake of those first couple Infamous games, especially Infamous 1, because they are stuck on PlayStation 3. There's no easily accessible way to play them games now on the PS5. So, but yeah, it would be very dope if they freaking remade those games. But yeah, so just had to give a shout out to Sucker Punch and freaking Infamous. Like I said, freaking 15 years, man. That's makes me feel so old thinking about that, man. But yeah, so rolling on from that, and speaking of PlayStation stuff, so PlayStation had a state of play this week or whatever, which let me actually pull up the list of the games. Okay, so all right, so just kind of just running down the stuff that kind of was shown, at least like the main highlights or whatever, because there wasn't like a whole bunch of stuff that like really spoke to me. Just like one really big thing at the end. But they finally showed off that new game called Concord. I had hopes that maybe this might be something that I would be interested in, because I don't play a lot of multiplayer games, but I was like, you know what? I didn't play Helldivers 2 earlier this year or whatever, but I was like, maybe this would be something I could play or whatever. And like the characters and the style of it looks really dope, but it's a 5v5 PvP style game, and that's just not for me. But for those of y'all interested, so Concord is got a date, PS5 and PC, August 23rd. So that's coming out. God of War Ragnarok is coming to PC on September 19th. Now the big one that I'm most excited for is on that box behind me. Astrobot, the new game, is coming out September 6th. Now, Astro's Playroom was one of the best surprises that you get for free if you have a PlayStation 5. So if you have a PlayStation 5 and you have not played this game, it is free to download it. It's called Astro's Playroom. It is basically a 3D platformer that takes you through the history of PlayStation. So it has all these different levels and stuff themed around PlayStation. And so it was so dope. It showed off a lot of like the different features and stuff of the PlayStation DualSense, the new controller for the PS5. But all around, it was just a very fun game to play. And me and my son Vash still play it from time to time, whatever. So I am very excited that this game is coming out. And I know Vash is going to be super hyped because he has no clue it's coming out. I'm not even going to show him any trailers or whatever, just because he's going to be bugging me like, hey, when's it coming? When's it coming? Is it out? Is it out? Can we get it? Can you buy it? So I'm just going to wait. When the day comes, September 6th, I'm going to just buy it. It's going to be downloaded. I'm like, hey, let's play this. And the little 6-year-old mind's going to be blown. But yeah, so that was that. They shut off more of that Marvel Rivals multiplayer game that's going to have a closed beta in July. Shut off some gameplay for Monster Hunter Wilds. The Silent Hill 2 remake got a date of October 8th. A new Dynasty Warriors game is coming out in 2025. Path of Exile 2. Until Dawn remake is coming out sometime in the fall. Still no date on that. That first game, I really enjoyed the original Until Dawn. Don't know if I'm gonna play this remake or whatever. Don't really have no interest. I don't really do many like spooky games or whatever. But if you haven't played Until Dawn, definitely one I recommend. And I know they're working on a movie for the series. So looking through this other stuff. Yeah, nothing else too much or whatever. So yeah. So so that's it for the state of play. That came out the other day. PlayStation is also doing a bunch of like different discounts and sales and stuff going on right now. So stuff you might want to check out regarding that. I'm excited because this next week we got a lot of the summer games fest stuff going on, which this is basically what used to be the what's it called? What is it called? E3 time frame of year, or whatever. But since E3 is dead, Summer Game Fest is kind of what's taking over. So I'll be very excited to talk about all that stuff. Hopefully, by the time I record again, I think the timing is gonna probably work out right to where, over the course of this next week, pretty much most of the big, um, what's it called, conferences and stuff is going to happen. So that'll be perfect timing. I can just do maybe like a big episode talking about all the big game announcements and stuff, whatever that's happened. So let's see. So I'm trying to find, because this guy had made a schedule of all of the conferences. Where is it at? Hold on, let me find it real quick. Okay, so here it is. So there's a couple of like indie streams and stuff that's happening over the next couple of days. But as far as like the big stuff, on June 7th, so that'll be this coming Friday. Yeah, so this Friday, so June 7th will be the big Summer Games Fest stream. Will happen that night. And then some other little streams in between, and then the other big one is the Xbox showcase. It's going to be that next Sunday, June 9th, so that's going to be very exciting. And then Ubisoft is going to be that Monday, June 10th. So very hyped for all of those. There's going to be a Nintendo Direct at some point in June. We don't have a date yet. Nintendo just said, hey, there will be a Direct this year. It would be nice if it happens within this next week or whatever, so I can toss that into the conversation. But if not, I'll get it on a future show. But yeah, so all those streams are coming up. Very exciting times, even though I haven't really gotten to play any games in quite a while. But I'm always striving and hoping to do better and be better about that. Speaking of Xbox and stuff, whatever, they did already go ahead and confirm that the next Call of Duty, which is going to be Black Ops 6, will be on Game Pass this year. So that's going to be very interesting to see how that plays out sales-wise and stuff, because, yeah. So, but I know my wife and my kids will be happy, because my wife has been wanting to play Call of Duty. Because so back when I met my wife almost a decade ago now, she was super heavy on Call of Duty, like super big on Call of Duty. But just slowly over the years, she got into Fortnite, then she got into Apex, whatever, and hasn't really played Call of Duty in a couple of years now, whatever. But my middle son, he still plays it or whatever. So they're very happy to hear, oh cool, the new Call of Duty is going to be on Game Pass or whatever. So she'll get a chance to maybe dive back into it or whatever. So, but yeah. So that's it for all the game stuff. I'm going to briefly shout out and talk about a few movies that I got to go watch recently. So, be right back. Okay, so first off, I'm going to shout out the Haikyu movie, Battle of the Garbage Dump. This movie was so fun getting a chance to watch this series on the big screen in a movie theater. So this pretty much picks up from where the last season of the anime ended, and had pretty much the whole movie is just the tournament match between Karasuno versus Nekoma High School, whatever. And so, yeah, like I said, it was just so good to see all these characters again, because it's been many years since the last season of the anime. And then in general, the manga for Haikyu ended 4 years ago now. It ended in July of 2020. So it's already been 4 years since I've even read this arc or whatever. And like I said, it's been a couple of years since they did a anime season, which actually Haikyu. Let me just see, when was the last anime season? Um, but yeah, so I don't really need to elaborate anymore on the movie, but to just say, let me see. Oh man, okay, dang. The last season of the anime that they did was in 2020. So wow, so it's been 4 years across the board since we've gotten anything Haikyu, manga or anime. Wow. Uh, Dang, that's crazy. But but yeah, like I said, if you're a fan of the series, or whatever, if you have the opportunity, I know it's only in theaters for a short time, go watch the movie if you can. Otherwise, hopefully, it'll be on streaming before too long. But yeah, it was just so fun to get to see these characters again and see the passion and intensity of things. And I'll also mention, make sure to stay after the credits. There's a very dope scene setting up the next match and stuff, whatever, after the credits, um, which I can't wait to watch that movie. And I'm very curious if that's going to be it, because when they announced all this movie stuff a couple years back, they said there's going to be 2 movies. Now, there's still a lot of content left to go from the manga, so I don't know how they're going to try to wrap this up in one movie, unless it is a very long, like 2 hour plus movie or something. But even then, it's still a lot of stuff for them to go through. So, but yeah, but we'll see. So shout out to Haikyu. Very glad I got to watch that movie. So next up, uh, I had watched Furiosa, the Mad Max movie or whatever. So it was very interesting that my wife had to remind me of this, but my wife had went with me to see the last Mad Max movie, which was Mad Max Fury Road, 2015. So that means this was one of the first movies we ever saw after meeting and dating. So yeah, May 15th, 2015. So yeah, 9 years ago. um, but anywho, so I went and saw this one solo by myself, whatever. But it was a cool movie. Still had a lot of the same action and intensity and stuff, whatever, from Fury Road. So very well made movie, awesome looking. But yeah, if you're a fan of Fury Road, go see Furiosa. That's pretty much all I got to say about it, because I don't have too many descriptors or whatever to say. But I will say though, it did also make me also reflect on the Mad Max video game that came out in 2015 as well. So shout out to that game. If you want more Mad Max content and you like just like some dumb fun open world games with a little bit of like the Batman Arkham combat a little bit, that Mad Max video game 2015 is very fun. So yeah, so one is saw Furiosa, and then some weeks back I also went and saw the new Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. That movie was really dope. Now, I had to remind myself because basically it's been a long time since they did one of these movies, and so when they started off the movie with a very powerful scene, it quickly reminds you like, oh, okay, I guess that's what happened at the end of the last movie or whatever. And so afterwards I had to look up, because I'm like I kind of remember that happening, but yeah, it's kind of fuzzy. And then it was like, oh yeah, the last one of these movies that came out was in 2017. In 2017 was when my son Vash was born, but he was born in November. And the last Planet of the Apes movie, which was War for the Planet of the Apes, came out in April. So, or no, July, I believe, was the release of that movie. Um, so yeah, so of course, hey, it's been almost 7 years. So yes, Robert, that is why you don't remember much of these movies or whatever. But they, like I said, did a good job of like capping off the previous kind of trilogy, I guess you could say, whatever. And then this movie jumps ahead like several, like 100 years, like hundreds of years into the future. And so you kind of have like a new cast of characters or whatever. And so it was pretty dope to get to see uh, basically this new generation of these apes and stuff, whatever, in this world. Because with the previous trilogy, it was this slow transition of, hey, humans rule the world. Okay, now we got this very intelligent ape, and then now he's teaching the other apes, whatever, and it's kind of like becoming like an equal society or whatever. Well, now it's like with this movie, it's hundreds of years in the future. Now the apes rule the world, and the humans are kind of seen as like lesser creatures, and they're even more of a rare sighting, at least with where this world is now, whatever. But it was very interesting to see, with stuff being hundreds of years in the future, of now you have these apes or whatever not really understanding where they came from or how we got here or whatever, to where for them, because remember in the previous trilogy or whatever, Caesar was kind of like the only one that could actually speak or whatever. But now everybody, all the apes, they're all just, hey, what's up, man? Hey, how's the wife and kids doing? Hey man, I went to saw your son's basketball game the other day. Not really, but it's just everybody just talking, and it's like like going from the previous ones to this, whatever, was just very interesting to see. And even just like I said, just like a lot of them not really even knowing of Caesar and the groundwork he did to set up this world that y'all live in now. But yeah, so it was very cool, and like I said, kind of sets up the groundwork for them to do more of these movies going forward and stuff. So, but yeah, so if you've seen any of the other Kingdom, any of the newer Planet of the Apes movies, because I've never seen any of like the original ones from like the 70s or whatever. I've only seen this new set, which is crazy that this new set started it was Rise of the Planet of the Apes in 2011, Dawn in 2014, and then War in 2017, and now you have this one in 2024, which is so freaking crazy to think about how much time has passed through all these whatever. So, but yeah, I'm very much excited and interested to see more of these movies and stuff to come out in this future, whatever, because it was a pretty dope, like I said, setup with this new set of characters, which, what was even the name of Noah? Yeah, Noah, that was his name. But yeah, so very, very awesome. Yeah, so real quick before I move on to something else, just kind of going through the list of like other movies that are coming up in the near future. Oh, part of me wants to see that freaking Garfield movie, but I don't know. It's not a must see rush to see that or whatever. But I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I'll get bored or have a free ticket to go see something or whatever. So, the new Bad Boys movie is coming out. Bad Boys 4, Ride or Die, is coming out. But I don't even know if I even saw the third one. They came out a handful of years back, whatever. So who knows? Inside Out 2, Power What's That comes to the house. The Bike Riders, that looks interesting. I might check that out. Let me see. That's kind of it for June. Let's see, July, Despicable Me 4. So, speaking of Despicable Me, for some reason, Vash is now in a Despicable Me phase. to where almost every night that's what he wants to put on the TV when he goes to bed or whatever. So I don't know, but Despicable Me 4. Not seeing too much else. At the end of August or July, I mean, Deadpool and Wolverine. That'll be a must watch. I'll probably take my 2 older boys to go watch that one. Let me see. Borderlands movie is in August. I might go see that just out of sheer curiosity with that movie. That's it for now. Yeah, and then looking into September or whatever, the new Beetlejuice movie. I don't know. I haven't seen the original Beetlejuice since I was a kid. So, who knows? So, but anyway, that's it for the movie stuff I wanted to talk about. Now, I did see, shout out to Rob J mentioned that like TV show stuff real quick. Season 3 of Mayor of Kingstown started today. I haven't watched it yet because for one, I don't have Paramount right now, so I might just wait until that season is done and then binge watch it all. But that started. The Boys new season is starting this month. House of the Dragon season 2 is this month. The Bear season 3 is this month as well, but I'm probably gonna wait and binge watch that when that's all done. I think that's it for most of like the big stuff that's coming out this month that I could think of. So, but yeah, so lots of good TV and movies and stuff coming up that I'm excited to dive into. Now, okay, so last couple of things I just want to just shout out in passing before I get up out of here. So don't have too much like anime stuff specifically I want to touch on as far as like new episodes and stuff, but I did want to shout out that Sakamoto Days finally got an anime announcement confirmed, and it is coming out January 2025, so it'll be time for my birthday next year, my 35th birthday next year, hopefully. Man, Sakamoto Days, it is coming. So very excited for that, for more people to see and to experience this series, whatever. So yeah, so Sakamoto Days anime is coming. And there was also some rumblings earlier today too, whatever, that Gachi Akuda might also be coming as well next year. So very, very interesting times coming. Very hype. And yeah, and Sakamoto's Day, the manga is going crazy right now, or kind of just wrapped up a very crazy arc, whatever I should say. Aside from that, I still been enjoying watching The Fable, but I needed more, so I made the executive decision to jump over to reading the manga for it. So that's been a very dope and chill read. I've been kind of just like reading a few chapters here and there. I'm maybe like 6, 7, 8 chapters past where the most recent anime episode was, so that's very dope. Go Lizard Ranger has still been very good. Jobless Reincarnation has been really good. Windbreaker was super dope, but the 2 I want to shout out this week, man, freaking both Bartender as well as the Delicious in Dungeon, both very amazing episodes, but both massive cliffhangers. I was like, man, we are getting some very much needed backstory on the main bartender dude from Bartender, and then from Senshi in Delicious in Dungeon. So I'm very excited to dive into both of those or whatever. So, but yeah, so looking forward to those, whatever. What else I was gonna say? My Hero Academia manga. No major spoilers, whatever, but I'm just gonna say we are now in the epilogue. We are post-war fighting's over, big bads are over. Now we're starting a epilogue for the series. So I'm very curious to see how this is going to be handled. If we're going to get like several chapters to wrap this series up, whatever, that would be very dope. To get to see a lot of stuff, whatever. Especially because we know we have to kind of at least end this part of My Hero Academia with a older Deku talking about, because that's how the series starts with, like, hey, this is the story of how I became the greatest hero. And so yeah, so that moment is on the horizon. So very much looking forward to that. And then last but of course not least, One Piece, the world building, the stuff we are getting, the insight. Vegapunk is like spilling the beans on some information or whatever. I'm not going to go into that too much right now either, but I just want to say One Piece, good right now. And yeah, I think that's it for all the stuff, like the entertainment stuff I want to touch on. Like I said, man, like this next week, very exciting for me. Uh, like I said, beside from the Summer Games Fest stuff coming, the new anime episodes and manga chapters, we also have the NBA Finals that's kicking off on Thursday with the Dallas Mavericks versus the Boston Celtics. So I'm looking forward to watching that with my family and stuff, those games, whatever. Uh, and yeah, so hopefully by the next time I record, like I said, hopefully get to talk about a lot of gaming news. If nothing else, hey, I'll just do an episode just about just gaming stuff. but but yeah, but we'll see. And let me see, just double checking my little notes here. I think that is it. Yeah, that's it. So I'm gonna wrap it up there. Go give me a little late night snack. But as always, thank you so much for watching and or listening. As always, you can find me everywhere at Dad Needs to Talk. Feel free to follow, subscribe to YouTube, all that stuff, whatever. Feel free to hit me up if you just want to chit chat and talk, whatever. My DMs are open on all platforms, or you can email me. However you want to reach out to me, whatever, I am available. And like I said, hopefully I can try to figure out how to get back to doing more collabs and stuff, whatever. I got a technical problem that's been plaguing me for a year that I think I just need to finally just nuke this laptop and just start fresh, whatever. But we'll see. But yeah. So as always, treat yourself to something nice. Read some manga. Watch some anime, TV shows, and movies. Play some video games. Shout out Infamous. And of course, live your best life. And with that, I am done. Y'all have an awesome day or week. Appreciate y'all so much for all the support. And I will catch y'all on the next one. As always, peace.